Welcome to Industrial PLC Applications. This video is on Connected Components Workbench using the build utility, or how to save your mark. We have all experienced the yellow triangle of oops while programming. It's there to remind us we haven't finished the job and the highlighted contact or instruction needs more information or clarity. But there are also warnings that the project may not build, and that leads to zeros in the marking column. Now, we all have run into situations where we've put a lot of effort into something only to find that we don't get any reward for it. No marks, it's not right, it's very frustrating and disappointing. So one of the things that when you're working with Connected Component Workbench and you're doing your programming, you're going to find that you'll get these little yellow attention triangles, and they're trying to give you information that is pertinent because you cannot run it without for example, you can't run without with an unidentified variable. So most of them are really quick and easy to fix. Just right click variable selector and it even prompts you oakley doke, and my problem solved. So you should make it a habit that when you're working in programming, and it doesn't hurt to do it every couple of rungs, but certainly when you've worked on a program, to use the build utility as not your enemy but your friend and comrade in arms, because there's no point in doing all this work and then getting a 0 as your final mark. So you're going to go up to device, and from that menu you're going to use the build utility. Now the build utility does not require that you have a PLC or the simulator online. It just literally takes the particular model that you're using and it makes sure it's going to work. It takes a few minutes, maybe about a minute or two, and at the bottom you'll see where it says whether it passed or failed, and it said build failed. Okay, so let's double click on that and see if we can get that to open up. Click our output and our error list, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mistakes. Okay, somebody wasn't paying too much attention. And it also tells you where they reside. So I also have no warnings and no messages. So I got to go and find all these. That's like, wow, it's a lot of work. Actually, it isn't. Just double click on it. It's going to take you to your error and it's going to say, okay, there's something wrong with this picture. Let's go back to our error list, and it says expecting an output or memory bool. Well, memory bool means it's an internal variable. Output, what do I mean by an output? Oh, for crying out loud. Look. Now this is a common mistake. I've seen this happen many times. The software actually tries to prevent you from making a mistake on the output side because it gives you the list of available outputs first and foremost. But if you use the right click variable selector and are not paying attention, I know paying attention gets to be expensive, but the point is you can pretty much call up anything. And if you're in a rush, if you're looking for 16, you may not scroll down to digital output 16 and select digital input 16. Okay, great. That one's fixed. Let's go back to our error list and go CTD1 expecting a bool variable or a bool constant. What does that mean? Okay, that would probably be it. So what's happened here is I've used a variable that indicates a counter, a countdown counter, the one that's just below it, but I'm not using the entire instruction. I've driven it to the bit level. So it's saying, okay, that's great. We haven't got a clue what you're talking about. So it's a quick and easy fix for that particular one. If I'm looking for the Q bit, I just double click on it, make sure the arrow is as far to the right as possible, press the period and the Q, problem solved. Now I have a couple of other attention triangles. Let's see if they pop up, whether they're just like, yeah, you really should fix that. So we're going to go to new time undeclared identifier. Okay, let's look at that. Oh, it's just saying it doesn't know what that is. Okay, so we're going to right click variable selector, and right now it's there. Now if I hit OK, or if I try to make it a bool, it gives me the red box of no, you're close but not quite there. So you have to put an underscore. No spaces are allowed when you're creating a variable name. Now you can put spaces in the alias, and hit OK. And spaces are allowed in the alias, they're not allowed on a variable. And that has to do with the delineation that we talked about before, that if you leave a gap, it's not sure whether that means there's two variables or a single variable. It's not sure whether there's supposed to be a period there. Like, for example, if you were using new time space PT for program time, there's no period, so it doesn't know what you're after. So to avoid confusion, it just says, I don't know what you want. If you want it as a variable, it has to have an underscore to complete it. Okay, let's go down to the next one on our list. Expecting a variable. Okay, let's jump to that one and see what that is. Oh, okay, so I'm using a subtraction instruction, and I'm taking 34 and minusing 6 when my Q is not ever done, and it says, okay, where do you want me to put this? I have nowhere to deposit my information. Okay, I'm going to right click variable selector. I'll make one up just because I can. Now here, if I select bool and hit OK, I'm going to create another error, which we'll get to in a second. Let's do a quick build and see if I'm correct, see if I've got some of my other errors fixed. Okay, build is done. Hit my error list. New math expecting a dint real time sent word. Okay, let's click on that. And okay, that's a bool. And this is the expression I use all the time. You can't put a Mack truck in an orange. Well, I have an orange and I'm putting a Mack truck. So all I have to do is go into variable selector, and new math is currently a bool. I just change that to something a little larger. Now you can type in dint or int and it will accept it. And now new time is in the wrong spot. How'd that happen? I wasn't paying attention. I'm really going to have to break out the bank account. And it seems like it's disappeared because we're looking at bools. Let's just go and type in new time to make sure it's correct. And it's an int. Okay, good. So I can hit OK. Problem solved. Not sure why that's coming up there. New time bit new. Oh, that's an alias. Ah, okay. That's confusing. Anyway, I'm going to take care of that right now, because on those variables, there's no room in the box and you can't see your information, so I don't think there should be an alias in that instance. It'll correct itself. New time bit turned on. Int. Oh, it looks like I've got another problem. Okay, so I'm going to go variable selector, and with an did we just not go through this? Oh, it's now seeing that as a different variable. Interesting. Okay, can't have that. So we have to give this an entirely different name because of the confusion. These are all mistakes that other people have made, and I'm just repeating them. I'm going to call this new timer, and I'm going to make it a byte, and I'm going to hit OK, and then I have to redo this one because where's the one I just created? I hate when it does that. New timer, and it's a byte. There should be a drop down arrow. Why is there not a drop down arrow? Oh, I think I know why. My bad. I believe a byte is a construct for sending data. I'll have to look that one up. Okay, so now we got new timer.bit. That's all happy. Let's try our build one more time. Rung 6. Uh-oh. Expecting an output memory or bool at that location. One more thing to fix. Oh, an empty box. Empty boxes won't work. There, finished. So, as you can see, the build function is quite powerful, and it's going to prevent you from making errors. And let's just do it one last time because it never hurts. And it doesn't take that long. But you could do a lot of work, miss one little thing, rush it, submit it, and then somebody's going to look at it and go, well, that doesn't work. It doesn't build. I can't build. And it has build succeeded. Perfect. Well, the program's not perfect, but the build operation worked.